Penske battle at the front of this field.
Paul, you can sure see after that bad crash at the first turn in Cleveland how much thought the guys are putting into it. They're really being considerate of the other drivers, and that makes for a lot better start.
Nigel Mansell started in 9th. He's going to have to pass some people under great pressure that he has not been racing with all season long.
And Emerson Fittipaldi leads Paul Tracy across the line, followed by Bobby Rahal, Danny Sullivan, Stefan Johansson, and Raul Boesel. Lap number 1 is complete here in Toronto. A circuit at which care is very important. The entire track lined by concrete barriers. There is virtually no room for a mistake at all. Tracy takes a look to the inside of Fittipaldi.
And you can just see that Paul Tracy is being overly careful right now. That's his teammate Emerson Fittipaldi. Penske would literally kill him if they had a wreck together. So he's really starting to use his head more than usual, Paul.
You got a glimpse of Arie Luyendyk as he pulled up and made a move on Al Unser Jr. and got by. Now he challenges Robbie Gordon for 6th place.
As we talk about the importance of the championship to Fittipaldi, who leads now, remember that Roger Penske's team has not contested the championship in a stretch drive since 1988, when Danny Sullivan won it for him.
Watching the battle for the lead from 3rd place, Bobby Rahal's car, the camera mounted right on the nose. There's the first turn at the Princess Gates. You can see Tracy closing down on Fittipaldi. One of the key passing areas coming up for sharp right-hand turn.
185 miles an hour here at the end of the straight, and then down into a second gear 50-mile-an-hour turn. They lose 135 miles an hour in a few seconds of braking.
That's a 120-degree turn that we just went through with a 90 right to the left here. Then we're starting to work the backside of the racetrack a little bit. Fast turns to the right here. Even though it looks like a little bit of turn there, it's still basically a straightaway to these guys, Paul.
Past the pit entrance, Bobby Rahal appears to close the distance just a bit. There's the only chance for runoff at all on the left-hand side of the racetrack, where there are cones marking it. But IndyCar, if you get over there during racing, much like at Detroit, you could face a stop-and-go penalty. Battle continues at the front of the field. Fittipaldi still leading Paul Tracy. Bobby Rahal running in 3rd place. He said with his qualifying run this weekend, that's almost alien territory for him based on how he's performed earlier in the year.
Rahal had the pole here last year, went on to finish 2nd. This is by far the most competitive run he has had so far this year. Interestingly, Rahal's transporter is not parked where all the others are in a big building here. It's parked outside. The reason, when I asked, they want to get a quick getaway for Elkhart Lake, where they're going to do some testing earlier in the week. So Rahal has not given up the championship.
And as you can see, no change at the front of the order. Though the front end is closing down, it's Fittipaldi, Tracy, Rahal, Sullivan, Johansson, Gordon, and Luyendyk.
Another little note I just want to tell everybody, Paul, is the tires. The tires go off in speed after about 3 to 4 laps. And they wear faster here than they've been wearing at most of the races. So,
and one car in trouble, spinning car. And out on the line as several cars now move to avoid.
Jeff Wood, Paul. Jeff Wood in the 42.
Jeff, who came into this race with no time and speed for qualifying. Look at the rest of the field as they back him down, and this could be what many of the teams were hoping for. This may create a full course yellow, which will give them an advantage on fuel by being able to run laps behind the pace car, at which time generally they get about 5 miles per gallon.
Scary for Jeff there to be struggling to get out of the car while one car after another has to take that turn just right. I've had ample time to talk to Jeff Wood over the weekend because he's had so little practice, one problem after another with this car.
And I started to mention about the tires. Here's a replay of the 42 car coming in. He was braking. He's just got too much brakes on the rear end. You apply the brakes, the rear starts locking up, the car comes around, just barely hit the wall, but it's enough to knock the nose off of it. So that puts him out.
Bobby probably never had a chance to try that car with full tanks.
No, and very little time that he's had on the car, period, Sam. And I started to mention about the tires. The tires are going away after about 4 or 5 laps, and then they wear pretty quick. So the guys will have to do their racing with fresh tires, or they're passing right there.
They decide that they can clear that car with a local yellow only covering that area. You can see as the field comes through, they can in fact clear it. So Emerson Fittipaldi leads. We are still running under green on the rest of the racetrack. as you look at the number 28 on Trevor Weston's refueling helmet. We're back in Toronto for the Molson Indy, and as you can see by the yellow flags all along the edge of the race course, we are now under a full course yellow while they get Jeff Wood's car off the course. And you are on board Nigel Mansell's car in 14th position. Apparently, he's having some rather serious problems. Let's get an update from both of our pit reporters, starting with Jack Arute.
Well, Paul, this is the full course yellow that many of the teams felt they would need. As Bobby Unser alluded to, there was not a lot of concern about fuel consumption, but some of the Chevy teams felt that if they could get 4 laps of full course yellow early in the race, they wouldn't have to worry about settings at all in terms of fuel consumption and could run flat out, as they say. This is what they needed. This should make for more exciting racing in the waning moments of this race. Now, for more information on problems with Nigel Mansell's car, let's go down to his pit and Gary Gerald.
Jack, this has really been a weekend for Nigel Mansell. They've been in the comeback mode. They had 2 incidents where he hit the wall in practice of qualifying. He had a spin-out situation, and now they've got some engine pickup problems, at least in second gear. We understand the crew is tinkering now with the fuel, whether they richen it or lean it, trying to see if that will help this situation. So Mansell currently, I believe, in 13th place, has lost some ground since the green flag first came out.
So the weekend continues, a terrible struggle as we watch them come back toward the green flag. Green flag flies again, and the battle at the front continues. Thus far, the 4th place, Danny Sullivan. And look at, as Sullivan is being challenged by Johansson, Sullivan has been running the fastest laps at 105.4 miles an hour, though now he is locked in a battle with Johansson.
Well, Paul, you can actually see that Paul Tracy doesn't want to take a chance in passing Emil. There's Tracy in the 12th car. There he is. That's Tracy right there ahead of Bobby Rahal. There they are going down into the 120-degree turn, but he doesn't want to pass him. But Rahal's going to keep pushing him, and pretty soon he's going to have to make an attempt to go by Emerson Fittipaldi in the lead car.
As we watch Tracy in second place, note that a Canadian has never won this race. I was talking to Paul yesterday. He has a throat problem that is really quite serious. It dries up, particularly when he's in the car. Hurts like hell, and mumbling about tonsillitis. He's taken some pills. I hope it doesn't distract him too much during his drive today.
Fittipaldi still in front. Robbie Gordon runs in 6th place. His car owner, A.J. Foyt, not here this weekend. Apparently, they hospitalized him, thinking that he might have had the flu or some more serious problem. Turns out after test, it's not nearly that, and he's at home watching the race. And there's Danny Sullivan, has now been passed. As you can see, he's gotten past Bobby Rahal and now begins to close on the leaders of the races. Here comes Johansson as well. Can he hold to the outside line as he moves alongside Rahal? No, he drops in, and now Robbie Gordon is just behind him.
Well, there's so much racing right back there in the pack. We're going to see some passing pretty soon that's going to be extraordinarily good, I think, Paul.
Bobby Rahal on board his nose as the pass being made by Danny Sullivan here. The host broadcaster here, of course, the CBC, Canadian Broadcasting Company, supplying this feed to all of us worldwide. Over 90 countries in the world receiving coverage of the IndyCars now. Sullivan,
of course, under tremendous pressure to succeed here because his sponsor is a Canadian company. So he is really pouring it on, and you see how well he's doing. He's starting to mount an attack against his old team, Penske.
It's wonderful, too, how the Canadian fans react to their auto racing. They truly love it, and they are very deeply into it, especially the technical side of it. When other cars spinning, there's the 50 car. And they were just about to give, that's of course yes, on Montermini, and boy, now everybody stacks up there. They were about to black flag Montermini because of smoke at the back of the car, but he's created a regular parking lot down in that corner.
There's Kevin Kogan in the blue and white car in the center.
Marco Greco, Willie T. Ribbs throws the steering wheel out of his car and climbs out. He's got damage to the front left of his car. Greco's looks okay, as does Kogan's. See if we can take a look at it again.
Remember what a fantastic drive Montermini had in Detroit just a few weeks ago when he finished 4th.
You can see there was definitely something leaking out of the left side pod that probably assisted in the spin and got him into the wall. And then, of course, this was on the exit line of a corner, and it's created this situation.
You see the way the car just violently spun around, Paul, that he definitely was leaking something underneath it.
Yeah, Willie was caught in that accident in the first lap at Cleveland last week, too, so he's just flat out of luck.
The rest of the field now tries to work its way through under the second full course yellow of the day as Montermini is out of the car and they try to get the rest of the track cleared. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Tonight, after life goes on in America's Funniest Hour, one of the biggest events in television history returns. Richard Chamberlain and Rachel Ward star in the classic miniseries, The Thornbirds. That's all tonight on ABC. We are under full course yellow, second one of the day, as a result of an accident involving the 50 car, Andrea Montermini. He apparently had something going wrong in the side of his car, did a quick spin, and that brought 3 other cars to a dead stop right beside him and brought out the full course yellow. Right now he's with Jack Arute.
Andre, any indication what failed on the car?
No, the car was running okay. It was no problem. Only on the last few laps, maybe, I don't know what happened, some oil leak in an engine on a pump, I don't know. So this oil come to be fire, then it's gone to the rear tire, so I spun this.
Literally spun in his own oil, Paul. That's not fun at all.
Really good to see him back. Looked like water out of the cooler on the left side more than oil, though. Of course, the driver can't see that part of the car, so he falls to be victim very quickly. Willie T. Ribbs in the pits. You saw that he had damage to the left front nose wing on his car, so they're attaching an entire new nose assembly there. The PPG pace car comes off. Johnny Rutherford at the wheel, and here comes the field. Single file through once again, led by Emerson Fittipaldi, then Paul Tracy, Danny Sullivan, Bobby Rahal, Stefan Johansson, Robbie Gordon, Al Unser Jr., Ari Luyendyk, Raul Boesel, and Scott Goodyear round off the top 10. Fastest car in the race thus far still remains Danny Sullivan at 104.5 miles an hour. Again, Paul Tracy tries his teammate, moves to the inside, blocks him into the corner, and Paul Tracy takes the lead.
Boy, did you ever see such a careful, calculated pass? And ammo was kind of nice. It didn't even come down on him. So it showed you there that the guys realize it early and they have a lot of respect for each other.
And not only a calculated pass, but a fairly calculated response by Fittipaldi. But now maybe you can see why as Paul Tracy begins to pull steadily away from Fittipaldi. His car apparently has more at the moment, though all of the teams have reported, Bobby Unser, that they need to be very careful of tire wear, especially on the rears.
Well, that's one of the reasons why Tracy went for it early then. He knew that he was faster than Emo, and we could see that earlier on. But he did it when his tires are still good.
And Bobby and Paul, as Paul just swept through here, the start-finish area, the crowd, you can see him in the